Good evening, dear guests. I am Sebastian, your host. Yet tonight, I have the pleasure of not standing alone. At my side is the ever-gracious, my beloved Rebecca, whose presence will illuminate the path we are about to take.
Indeed. And it is my pleasure to join Sebastian in guiding you through a tale woven with snow, sorrow, and shadows. Tonight, we venture north into the frozen heart of Iceland, a land where the snow conceals not only silence, but whispers of the departed. It is a story whispered for centuries, where love and death walk side by side. A young woman waits in the silent frost, her heart filled with hope. She believes her beloved has come for her, yet what approaches is something far colder than the winter itself.
The rider who comes to claim her is no longer among the living. He is a phantom bound by unfinished duty, by longing, and by fate. And so, dear listener, we invite you to step carefully into the snow-covered paths of Iceland, where even the dead may ride under the pale moonlight. Stay close, and let us begin the tale of the ghostly Deacon of Myrká. This is From Beyond.
Welcome, fellow seekers of the strange and unexplained, to From Beyond. Tonight, we journey to the desolate, windswept heart of Iceland, a land where ancient sagas intertwine with chilling folklore, and the veil between worlds often feels impossibly thin. Forget your cozy fireplaces and festive carols, because the tale we're about to unravel is one steeped in tragedy, betrayal, and a love that defied even death itself. This is the haunting legend of Myrká, or the Deacon of Dark River. Our story begins centuries ago in the remote region of northern Iceland. Here, nestled amidst the stark, breathtaking beauty of snow-capped mountains and frozen rivers, lay a humble farm known as Myrká, or Dark River. It was here that a young deacon, whose name has been lost to the mists of time, resided. He was a man of faith, yes, but also a man deeply, passionately in love. His heart belonged to Gudrun, a beautiful and spirited young woman who lived on a farm called Begisá, just across the treacherous Hörgá River. Their love was a beacon in the harsh Icelandic winter, a promise of warmth and companionship in a world often unforgiving. They planned to marry, their future as bright and hopeful as the fleeting summer sun. As Christmas Eve approached, a day of great significance in Icelandic tradition, the deacon promised Gudrun he would visit her. He was to bring her a special gift, a book, and they would spend the holy night together. But fate, as it often does in these old tales, had a cruel twist in store. A sudden, ferocious blizzard descended upon the land, transforming the familiar landscape into a swirling vortex of white. Despite the warnings, despite the raging storm that made travel almost impossible, the deacon was determined to keep his promise. His love for Gudrun, and perhaps a touch of youthful stubbornness, propelled him forward. He mounted his horse and set off into the blinding snow. The Hörgá River, now swollen and treacherous, lying directly in his path. He never reached Begisá. The river, usually fordable, had become a death trap. The icy currents, hidden beneath a thin layer of snow, dragged him and his horse beneath the freezing waters. The storm raged on, burying the tragic secret of his demise under a fresh blanket of snow. Back at Begisá, Gudrun waited and waited. As the hours passed and the blizzard showed no signs of abating, a chilling dread began to creep into her heart. Then, just as darkness fully enveloped the land, a knock came at her door. It was the deacon, or so it seemed. He stood there, covered in snow, his face pale. He spoke, his voice muffled by the wind, urging her to come with him, to ride back to Myrká. But something was wrong. His eyes, usually warm and loving, seemed cold, distant, and as he reached for her hand, she noticed something else. A strange, unnatural dampness and a faint, earthy smell. Gudrun, a woman of sharp wit and strong intuition, immediately suspected the truth. This was not her beloved deacon. This was something else, something from beyond the grave. She remembered an old saying, "If a ghost invites you to ride, grab the empty sleeve." In a flash of desperate inspiration, she feigned difficulty mounting the horse. As the spectral deacon reached out to help her, Gudrun swiftly grabbed the empty sleeve of his coat, just as the old wisdom dictated. The moment her hand touched the fabric, the true horror of her situation became terrifyingly clear. The horse bolted, galloping at an impossible speed through the blizzard, the deacon's ghostly form leading the way. They flew across the frozen landscape, past familiar landmarks that now seemed distorted and menacing. The deacon's voice, no longer muffled, echoed with a chilling, guttural sound, repeating a single, horrifying phrase. "Wait, wait, Gudrun, for the grave is open." As they reached the graveyard at Myrká, the horse suddenly stopped. The deacon turned, his face no longer merely pale, but a grotesque, decaying visage, his eyes burning with an unholy light. He lunged for her, his skeletal fingers reaching, but Gudrun, with a strength born of pure terror, slipped free from the empty sleeve. She fled into the church, collapsing in a heap, safe but forever scarred by the night's horrors. The next morning, the villagers, alerted by the commotion, found the deacon's body, frozen solid in the Hurgar River, exactly where Gudrun had described. The book he intended to give her, still clutched in his hand, was waterlogged and ruined. The young woman finally escaped, her breath almost abandoning her as she ran. The icy cemetery air was left behind, but the terror was not. Upon reaching home, she thought she was safe, but every night the fear returned. The insistent knocking at the door echoed through the wooden walls, accompanied by a chilling whisper that only she could hear. It was him, the deacon, relentless in his pursuit. She became a prisoner of her own home, a haunted shadow, unable to go out alone. The world outside became a forbidden place, and with each twilight, the hope for peace dwindled. The dread seemed endless, but faith was her only hope. A priest, aware of the curse that pursued her, accepted the challenge. On the darkest night, he entered the house, armed only with the cross and prayer. The heavy atmosphere intensified. The entire house seemed to tremble. With a firm voice, the priest confronted the darkness, reciting sacred words. The deacon, in a final desperate attack, tried to resist, but the light of faith was stronger. The sound of breaking chains echoed, and the oppressive energy finally dissipated. The ghost dissolved into a final murmur, and the house, once a prison, became a home again. The young woman was finally free, and peace returned to that haunted land. The priest's prayers had banished the deacon's spirit, but the village knew that a curse like this couldn't be trusted to stay gone. A sorcerer was called upon. He directed them to roll a great, heavy stone over the deacon's grave. With ancient words and powerful spells, they cursed the stone itself, binding the deacon's restless soul to it for all time. The stone became more than a marker. It became a prison. And to this day, some say, the stone stands there as a grim reminder of the curse and the restless spirit that lies forever trapped beneath it. Gudrun never fully recovered from her ordeal. She lived a long life, but the memory of that terrifying Christmas Eve and the spectral ride with her deceased lover haunted her until her dying day. The Deacon of Dark River became a cautionary tale, a chilling reminder of the dangers that lurk in the Icelandic wilderness and the power of love that can transcend even death, albeit in a horrifying form. The legend of Diácono of Myrká is more than just a ghost story. It's a testament to the resilience of the human spirit against overwhelming odds, a warning against breaking promises, and a chilling exploration of the supernatural forces that many Icelanders still believe inhabit their ancient land. It reminds us that sometimes the greatest mysteries lie not in distant galaxies, but in the dark, frozen rivers of our own world. What are your thoughts on the Deacon of Dark River? Let us know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this journey into the unknown, be sure to like this video, subscribe to From Beyond, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss our next descent into the mysteries that lie. From Beyond. I have told you what I know. Whether you believe it or not is entirely up to you.
And so, dear guests, the tragic tale of the Deacon of Myrká fades into the cold night air of Iceland. A story of love, of loss, and of a soul unable to rest. Legends such as these remind us that the boundary between the living and the departed is as fragile as a snowflake drifting in the wind. Perhaps, somewhere in those desolate fields, the echo of hooves still lingers. And the whisper of the deacon calls for his beloved, forever unanswered.
Such tales are not merely stories, but shadows of human longing, woven with sorrow and devotion. In every ghost, there lies a fragment of the heart, aching, eternal. And yet, they enchant us, for they remind us that love can outlast even death, though in forms most chilling.
We thank you for joining us tonight, and for daring to step with us into the frost-kissed darkness of Myrká. Keep your candles close, and your hearts open to the mysteries that linger just beyond. Until we meet again,